On behalf of Indira Gandhi National Open University, myself, Subhashish Maji, Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department of School of Engineering and Technology, welcoming you for this lecture session. Today's topic is conflict management. This topic is from the program Advanced Certificate in Power Distribution Management. The course code is BEE 003 and the course name is Power Distribution Management. Conflict management. You might have heard about the conflict. Conflict occurs between individuals, whether they are in office or any factories or any organizations or in any universities, because their views, their ideologies are different. So conflict may occur also in between groups. Conflicts also may occur between two departments in an organizations. So today we will see how the conflict arises. Even there is a intrapersonal conflict. A person may have conflicts while taking decisions within himself or herself. So today we will discuss about the conflicts. Now, when we talk about the conflict management, how the conflicts are resolved, that is very important. The traditional view states that conflict is not good for the growth of the organization. But the modern management theory says that yes, conflict may also accelerate or enhance the growth of the organizations. So today we will see how the conflicts improves the organization's system, or how the conflicts are detrimental for the growth of the organization. Now, why there is a conflict? Because persons may be having different ideas, different ideologies, different views. Their social, economic and political aspects are different from others. Their views are different. The way of doing the works are different. So because of that differences in between the individuals, in between the groups, in between the organizations, the conflict occurs. Now, conflict is a natural disagreement amongst individuals or groups that differ in attitudes, beliefs, values or needs. It has both positive and negative sides. Conflict may be needed at times. It helps to raise and address problems, helps people to be real and learn how to recognize and benefit from being different. But in general, conflict is perceived as a problem which hampers productivity, lowers morale and continued conflict resulting in appropriate behavior. So we will see that sometimes the conflicts are required for enhancing the growth of an organization, but if the degree of conflicts is more, then definitely that situation will be harmful for the growth of the organizations. So today we will discuss different theories for the conflict management. Now you see the figure that there is a conflict between the two persons and third person is observing. So how to make things better, how to resolve the conflict, that is our today's discussion, that is conflict management. Conflict may be defined as a process that begins when one party perceives that another party has negatively affected or is about to negatively affect, sometimes that the first party cares about. Common managerial actions which result in workplace conflicts like poor communication, insufficient resources, interpersonal relationship, or the leadership problem. Now, poor communication. Sometimes the communication is not flowing smoothly among the employees of any organizations, and this poor communication may lead to conflicts. Now, but in the present situations, the authorities of the management or authorities for the organizations are leveraging the power of information and communication technology for excellent communication flow in the among the employees of organizations or between the departments or anywhere where the communication flow of communications is required. Insufficient resources, that resources, that means for any organizations there are resources, and these resources can be we can think of these resources like man, machines, materials, money. These are tangible resources, and sometimes resources also we can think of the power, the manager's time, and these are intangible resources. And interpersonal relationship are also very important, and because of interpersonal relationship, conflicting situation arises, because the different persons might be having different views, their perceptions may be different, their way of thinking may be different, their ideologies are different, and because of that differences, the conflicting situation arises. Of course, the leadership quality plays a very vital role for smooth conductions of the works in an organization. But the good leader who knows about the people, who must know about the work, who must know about his own capability, and who should be approachable, easily approachable to all the employees. So, a good leader will motivate the persons or workers in the organizations so that the organization's work should go in a smooth way, and the most of the conflicting situations should be resolved. Now, the traditional view prevalent in the 1930s and 1940s regarded all conflicts are harmful. Conflict was invariably viewed negatively and was associated with violence, turbulence, agitation, destruction, and irrationality. When we were going to our schools, our parents used to advise us, don't fight with anybody, don't involve with any argument, always keep and calm, always you should be calm and quiet, and don't involve yourself in fighting, because that was a traditional view that conflict is not good for any situation. In fact, Frederick Taylor, the father of scientific management, was the opinion that if the principles of scientific management were properly applied, the age-old conflict between labor and management would have disappeared. Now, there are conflicts between laborers or employees and the employers, but the Frederick Taylor says that if we apply scientific management in all aspects of our management situations, then conflict should not be occurred. But conflicts are inevitable. Conflict has to occur because the perception, views, needs, desires, the ideologies are different for different persons, different groups, and different departments. And today we will discuss about this, how the conflict arises and how we can manage for resolving the conflicts. The behavioralist view with regard to the conflict situation. The conflict theory was dominated by the behavioralist approach from the late 1940s through the mid 1970s. According to behavioralist, conflict was an unavoidable outcome, but at the same time, they believe that conflict did not always be detrimental. Sometimes it is good for the organization. Now we will see in what situation it is good or what situation it is detrimental for the growth of the organization. The interactionist view advocates the interactionist view emphasize that the mission of management is effective goal attainment rather than creation of harmony and cooperation. Instead of eliminate or reduce conflict, one should manage it in such a manner that its beneficial effects are maximized and its negative or harmful effects are minimized. So, interactionist view says that the main goal of the organizations is to focus on the growth of the organization so that we can meet the pre-assignment target, the production target, or the mission and vision of the organization. That is our main goal. So our main goal is not that to keep peace and harmony for all employees in the organization. If any conflict arises, then if it is beneficial for the organization, we have to allow to continue the conflicts situation. Otherwise, if it is harmful, then we have to take the corrective measure. Conflict, let us discuss about types and levels of conflicts. Conflict within an individual. Different types of conflicts could arise within an individual. Say for example, an engineer get a job, but that job is very good. It is a multinational company, the salary is very good and parts are also extremely good, medical facilities are there, and that car will be provided from going home to the organization, everything is fine, but that is at a remote place and the person may like to have the job, but he or she don't like to shift from his own state to the far away from their state to a different place for getting that, for joining in that job. So it is the situation of avoidable approach. That means the conflict is between two things. Whether to get the job, it is very good, so it is acceptable, but it is far away from the home. So, and the place is also very remote. So that is the situation of avoidable approach. Second one is the avoidable situation. Suppose a person, if he don't report against a person who is breaking the rules in the organization, but the person who is breaking the rules is his own friend, but if he doesn't report to the authorities may terminate him because he has to maintain the law and order in the organization. So in this situation, the avoidance. So both the situations are not accepted to him. First of all, if he don't complain, then the organization situation will deteriorate because he is breaking the rules one after another, or if he complains, his own friends will be terminated. So this is the avoidable situations, and there may be a situation where approach. Say for example, a person gets an offer to see a beautiful movie. At the same time, other friends are also requesting him to go for a picnic. Both the offers are good, but he may be having conflict which one he or she has to take. Conflict between individuals. We just explained that the conflict has to be there because the perceptions, ideologies, views, needs, desires, expectations are different for different individuals. So conflict can also take an interpersonal form. Conflict between individuals takes place owing to several factors, but the most common ones are personal dislike or personality differences. Now, a sales manager who is targeting for selling huge number of a product, so he thinks that most of the time the stock has to be ready because only then he can supply the goods to the dealers for that particular product. But at the same time, the production manager, he has to produce the goods in the organization, but sometimes what happened, due to some genuine reasons, he is not able to supply the number of goods required by the sales manager. So definitely sales manager may think that the production manager is incompetent, he is not providing the goods, my customers are waiting for getting that particular goods. So there may be a conflict between the sales manager and the production manager. Conflict between an individual and a group. See, in a group there are several persons there, and generally they work together, they follow the norms, and this type of intra-group conflicts arise frequently due to an individual's inability to conform to the group norms. Suppose the group, they are maintaining a benchmark. That means that manager asked the group member to produce certain number of products in a particular day. But a person, suppose who is producing more goods, that is also that situation will also create conflicting situation, because other persons will feel that they are incapable of producing much goods as that person is producing, or the person is producing less because of laziness or incapable of doing the job properly. So definitely the group members will feel that this will lead to a bad name for that group, and definitely there will be conflict between that person with the rest of the members of the group. But the group members will try to explain properly. If it not succeeds, then definitely there will be conflict between individual and the other groups in the same, other members in the same group. Conflict between groups within an organization. So intergroup conflicts are one of the most important types of conflicts to understand, as typically an organization is structured in the form of several interdependent task groups. We have just explained about the sales department and production department. So if the sales department's requirement is not met by the production department, definitely there will be a conflict between production group and sales group, and there are conflicts between management and union versus union, and the department versus department. So this is the examples of the conflict between groups within an organization. Now, conflict between organizations. Sometimes the two organizations are producing the same product. say for example they are manufacturing in the same car, then the conflict occurs between the organizations, because if one organization observes that the other organization sells is more, but they are producing the same category of cars, say for example SUV, but one organization or one company is selling more number of, so definitely that company which is selling more cars, definitely they must have some special features with the car. Maybe some electronic system is there, while taking in the back some signal comes out, or the other features with regard to the customer satisfaction, those are available for that company, definitely the sales of the cars is more. So conflict between organizations is considered desirable if limited to the economic context only. The laissez-faire economy is based on this concept. It is assumed that conflict between organizations will lead to innovative and new products, technological advancement, and better services at lower prices. So if two companies who are selling the cars or manufacturing the cars, but one car is having very good market value, other car manufacturers they are selling is not as per the other companies, definitely a conflict arises, and because of this conflict some new innovative ideas, some new technology, or some new features, or some electronic features so that it should be integrated with that car and compete with the other companies. There are several types of conflicts according to different classification scheme, and for classification 1 there are two types of conflicts in this scheme: functional conflict and dysfunctional conflict. Functional conflicts are good for the organization. So functional conflict, this is a constructive form of conflict because people primarily differ on ideas or perceptions. Suppose the design department, they present the design of a new product and they call all other departments like productions, assembly, manufacturing department and inspection department. So if they call all the departments, and if the design department explains the design of the new product, then the other department, people in the other department, they may differ with the ideas given by the design department. Some new innovative ideas may come, some new ideas may come, some they can add on, they can suggest some new ideas, so that conflict will lead to the growth of the organizations. So this is known as functional conflict. But dysfunctional conflict, this is a destructive form of conflict, because people will do not agree, and some persons are always argue anything is discussed in the organizations. So this is the examples, dysfunctional conflict, and this dysfunctional conflict definitely detrimental to the growth of the organization. Now classification 2, task conflict, related to content and goal of the work. Relationship conflict based on interpersonal relationship, and process conflict relate to how the work gets done. So if the management gives a job to a worker or employees, so he may do it in different way. So there may be, if he says that I can do it in a different way and the manager may not agree, then the conflict arises. But a good manager will listen to his ideas. If the idea is good, then instead of conflict, it may be a good improvement for the for that process so that all other will adopt the same process. Classification 3, this involves two types of conflicts based on the content or resources. Intrinsic conflict, it is based on rational and intellectual contents. Resolving intrinsic conflict requires an analytical approach. Intrinsic and extrinsic conflict, it has psychological and emotional content. Resolving extrinsic conflict requires social tackling diplomatically, and these are the subject of group dynamics, and we will discuss these things in detail. Classification 4, in this scheme, classification is based on perfected frustrations and emotions. Realistic conflict, it is based on rational task or goal-oriented confrontation. Now see, the manager may give some work to any employees, but that work, the manager should do that within that stipulated time. He should do that job. But if there is any deviations, then conflict arises. Now, non-realistic conflicts, it is based on projected frustrations and emotions. Sometimes what happens, the manager asks to do a job to any employees, but resources are not available. The time frame is not realistic. Then this type of conflicts arises. And classification scheme 5, conflict may also be classified based on the situation. Substantive conflict, these are task-related conflict, and affective conflict, this conflict is related to socio-emotional or interpersonal relation issues. Now, substantive conflict, these are task-related conflict, because the jobs are assigned to the employees. So different, say, workers will get different types of jobs, but some jobs are good and some jobs the process is not good. He or she has to work in some adverse situations. So in that case, the persons who are getting the job whose process is very easy, or the environment condition is very easy, so they will be definitely very happy. Now see, the other one is affective conflict. This conflict is related to socio-emotional and interpersonal relational issues. So in this case, what is happening, say, for example, in a chemical industries, some pollutant gas is coming out and polluting the environment. So a chemical engineer who is more concerned about the environmental issues, so definitely he will not feel good, because it is polluting environment, and in turn the people who are living in that adjoining areas, their health will be affected. Now what's happening, sometimes the inspector comes to check whether that chemical industries are following the norms for controlling the pollutions. In that case, what's happening, sometimes the management asks that particular engineer to meet the officials and explain that in that organization everything is fine, there is no pollution, there is no, and all the norms are being followed. Then the engineer, the chemical engineer who himself is not happy with the present situation, and they have to defend that this present situation is good to the inspector. So definitely in that case, there will be conflicting situation, and that is known as the affective situation. So I will take little bit rest, and I'm coming within 2 minutes. Thank you very much. अभी ठीक हो गया। In addition, there are two more types of conflicts. Interrole conflict, it occurs when a person receives contradictory expectations in the same role. It may also be due to competing demand between two different roles carried out by an individual. Now, person role conflict, this type of conflict arises when an individual is asked to do certain things as a part of his or her role which is against his or her personal value system. Now, this is a good situation for a person. Person role conflict, that means a person has given a job but he is not willing to that job because for that job the conditions are not as per his choice. Now let us discuss about the sources of conflict. See, competitions for limited resources. For completing the job, the resources are required. What are those resources? Man, machines, materials, money. These are tangible resources, but the other resources like power, status and manager's time, these are known as intangible resources. This picture you see that there are so many animals in a place, but the water availability of water is very less. Definitely the animals will not be happy because only the powerful animals will get the water. Now, diversity of goals. Different groups in an organization perform different functions and hence develop their own norms and goals. Theoretically, achievement of these goals should help an organization to fulfill its mission, but in practice, it is possible that goals of one group may not be compatible with the other goals in another group. Say for example that the sales manager is the sales manager would like to sell the air conditioning system in summer. So there are a lot of demand. So he has forecasted that a huge amount of there is a huge demand from the customers, and he can sell huge number of air conditioning system, and he requested the production manager to give that many of air conditioner so that he can sell and the customers will be satisfied. Now sometimes what happening that because of the increase in production, so the production department may not be having sufficient persons. They have to get the persons from the market, but there may be a tight situation of the labor market and he may not get any labor during that situation. So the production manager may request the authorities to recruit some permanent employees, but that is not accepted by the authorities. So the production manager will not be able to supply that many number of air conditioners which is required for the sales manager to sell it to the market. So definitely there will be the conflicting situation between the groups, or even the production manager produces huge number of air conditioner, but to to keep it in the storage, a huge amount is required. So purchase or the finance section may not agree with that. So there may be a conflicting situation in between production department and the finance department. So all these cases arise in organizations where there is a conflicting situation between the diversity of due to the diversity of goals in different departments. Now see, task interdependence. Three types of interdependence can cause intergroup conflict, that is pooled, sequential and reciprocal. Now pooled interdependence exists when two groups which do not interact each other directly are affected by each other action. It is then possible that if one independent group performs poorly, all other groups may suffer financially. This can happen when rewards are contingent upon collective performance. Suppose in automobile industries that the production department are producing the engine parts. After that, engine parts will go to the assembly department. Now if the production department, they are maintaining the production rate, but assembly department, they are not able to assemble in that time. So definitely the production department will feel that the assembly department is not doing proper job. We are producing the items, but assembly departments are not perform the assembly of the whole engine. So definitely there will be a conflicting situation between the departments. Now sequential interdependence occurs when one group's performance depends on another group's prior performance. In a construction project, for example, the excavating team must prepare the foundation before the machine work on the building construction. So you might have seen the construction going on at different places. You will find that first of all they have to make the foundation. So excavation department, they will excavate and prepare the foundation for that structure or building. After, when the foundation is ready, then the machine will come and do the job. So unless and until the excavating team finishes the foundation work, the machine will not be able to start their own job. So for this, if this situation arises, then this is known as the sequential interdependence, and for that conflicting situation may arise. Reciprocal interdependence occurs when two or more groups are mutually interdependent in accomplishing that task. For example, in developing and marketing a new product, three major departments, marketing, production and research, depend on each other to perform their task. Information possessed by a department is needed by another department. Suppose the company is organizing a new product. So for that there has to be some market research, and the R&D people, they will get the information from the market, and there is a marketing department and there is a production department. But the production department, they must know what the R&D is doing or marketing department is doing. Marketing department must know what the other departments are doing. So they are doing a job for which all these three departments are involved. So this is known as the reciprocal interdependence. Now, difference in values and perception. A lot of conflict is generated within organizations because various groups within an organization hold conflicting values and perceive situation in a narrow and individualistic manner. So management labor conflict is a well-known example. Now see, if the laborers, they do very good job, and they, they perform their job in such a way that the management gets a lot of profit. So the laborers will feel that the management must do something for their welfare. Say they may expect their salary may increase, but for the management, their point of view is this, that they will utilize that profit which they are getting by for their good work for the labor. So the management may think of that to enhance the resources or increase their business, or say to purchase more equipment so that more products uh, will come will be will possible to produce. So the views are different. So management is thinking how to improve their organization, and laborers, they will be thinking that they should get the profit share in terms of salaries, enhanced salaries, or any extra park and so on. So this organizational ambiguities, conflict may emerge when two organization units compete over a new responsibility. Intergroup conflict stemming from disagreement about who has the responsibility for going task is an even more frequent problem, because sometimes what's happening, the jobs are not properly assigned, so nobody knows which job they have to do. So in that case, there may be a conflicting situation. Now, introduction of change. Say change can breed intergroup conflict. Acquisitions and mergers, for example, encourage intergroup conflict, competitions and stress. See, when one company acquired other companies, then the condition is this, that people, both the organizations, people will be there. So the acquired companies, people might not be knowing that what role they have to play. So in some situation, when a company acquired some other companies, then the acquired companies, they discuss this, the roles and responsibilities for different, say, persons before acquiring, or two companies when they are merging together for betterment of both the organizations. So in that case also, there may be a conflicting situation of the roles and responsibilities for the individuals of both the organizations. So if there is any change in the organization, some conflicting situation arises. Now, the nature of communication. One of the major fallacies abounding about conflict is that poor communication is the cause of all conflicts. A typical statement is, if we could just communicate with each other well, we could eliminate our differences. So communication has to flow smoothly so that everybody should know what is happening within that organizations, or what are the next course of work they have to do. But the modern management authorities are leveraging the power of information and communication technologies for smooth flow of communications in the organizations. So for good flow of communication, the manager or the supervisors have to be approachable to the employees, so that any new innovative ideas from the lower level, the manager has to get that information with no difficulty. Now, aggressive nature of people. Another factor that has immense potential for generating conflict within an organization is personality characteristics that account for individual differences. Evidence suggests that certain personality types, for example, individuals who are highly authoritarian or arrogant or autocratic or dogmatic, lead to such conflict? See that people are different, they are having different perception, their ideologies are different, their views are different, their mental status are different. Some people may work easily under a stress condition, and some people, if there is a stress, some people may not be comfortable working in the stress condition, and because of that the conflict arises. And of course the aggressive natures people will definitely enhance the conflicting situation. Now these are the potential source of conflict and resultant orientations. Say potential source of conflict that concern with self. If somebody is only concerning about himself or herself, so perception is known as narrow. That means he is only thinking of himself. Resultant orientation, short, perceptive, and perception is broader, and resultant orientation is long perceptive. And if potential source of conflict, that is different goals, so perceptions conflicting and resultant orientation is individualistic, and but perception complementary, the resultant orientation is superordination. And resources, because resources are required to complete the job. If it is limited, then result is fighting, they will fight for the resources. And if perception is expandable, then resource will be sharing. So ideologies conflicting, then resulting orientation stereotyping, then it will be varied. And for varied perceptions, so it is understanding. So like that, different say potential source of conflicts are given, and due to the perceptions, the resultant orientations are different. Now see the effects of conflict. As a result of intergroup conflict, some changes that may occur within the group involved are group cohesiveness increases, and the group become task oriented, leadership become more rigid, and organizational structure become more rigid, and group unity is stressed. So this is the as a result of intergroup conflict. So these changes will occur. Now prolonged group conflicts cause the following changes in relationship between groups. So if the prolonged conflicts are going on, the groups become antagonistic towards each other, perceptions are distorted, communication ceases to exist, and groups apply a double standard. Some potential benefits of intergroup conflicts. These are the benefits. So conflict clarifies the real issues. So if there is some issues and if there is conflicting situation for that particular issue, and if they come out with a solution, and definitely conflict clarifies the real issues. Conflict increases innovation. So obviously if there is any conflicting situation for any product, process, or the new design of the product, so definitely some innovation will come for conflicting situation. So conflict serves as a catharsis, and conflict resolution solidifies intergroup relationship, because if there is a resolution of conflict with mutual understanding, so definitely the group relations will be better. Now here this is a very interesting graph. You see that this graph is drawn with level of conflict and the level of improvement of the organizations. So you see that if the level of conflict is low, then the productivity is less. So if we increase the conflict from low to the higher side, definitely the productivity will increase, the growth of organizations will increase, but there is a level of conflict, that is a threshold level of conflict, for which the point B clarifies that that is the maximum production, that is the maximum benefit for the organization, and that is the maximum success for the organizations, and in that case that is the benefit for the conflict situation in the organization, but till that level of conflict we can allow. But even if you increase the level of conflict beyond that point, obviously the production will increase, some chaos will be situation, and at a very high level of conflict, again the growth or productivity will be zero. So my dear friend, here we are finishing our discussion, but this is a very large topic, and there are theories of conflicts we will discuss in the next class. Thank you very much.